Freedom in food production was an essential ingredient of the American Revolution. Not a bad pun for a Saturday. Anyway, this actually helped provide the means by which British goods could be successfully boycotted. Okay, so Nullification News Report number 1. In Wyoming this week, SF 102 was signed as law, expanding the first-in-the-nation Food Freedom Act to open up the market to more local egg and dairy producers. First passed in 2015, the law allows the sale of many foods and food products direct from the producer to the consumer without adhering to onerous state regulatory and licensing requirements. Lower regulation in this area brings more competition, lower prices, and better quality. The expansion of the law now adds eggs and dairy, and it even allows for designated agents to facilitate sales rather than just the individual producer. As Mike Meharry reports, expanding the market for eggs and dairy could provide some relief for Wyoming residents struggling to deal with price inflation. The price of both eggs and milk has increased quite a bit over the last year. Opening up the market to more producers and sellers could help the people of Wyoming to get some relief from the money-printing frenzy of recent years. Over in Missouri, the Freedom to Farm Act has been assigned to the Senate Agriculture, Food Production, and Outdoor Resources Committee, where Jason Bean has yet to schedule a hearing. The bill would limit government regulation of farming and ranching in Missouri. It reads in part, "The right of farmers and ranchers to engage in farming and ranching practices for sale or personal consumption shall be guaranteed free from government intervention and such practices occurring within this state, and shall not be infringed upon by the federal government under the regulation of interstate commerce." Freedom in agriculture was incredibly important to leading founders like Thomas Jefferson and George Washington, and James Madison may have summed it up best. The class of citizens who provide their own food are the best basis of public liberty and the strongest bulwark of public safety. That brings me to Nullification News Report number 2. A number of states are considering bills we can call a Second Amendment Financial Privacy Act. In Mississippi, House Bill 1110 would prohibit a financial institution or its agent from requiring or assigning a specific firearm or ammunition merchant code to any firearms business. In other words, banning the practice of using credit card purchase information to track the owners of firearms. The bill passed the House by a vote of 87 to 26 and awaits a vote in the state Senate. In Florida, a Senate committee passed Senate Bill 214 by a vote of 9 to 3. Similar legislation is up for consideration in Idaho as House Bill 241, Illinois, House Bill 3840, and Texas, House Bill 2837. Nothing helps us do this kind of work and get this kind of information out to more and more people every single day more than the financial faith and support of our members. Over at 10thamendmentcenter.com/members, you can join us for as little as $2 a month. We also have annual, lifetime, and 5-year options, and you can help us take a stand for the Constitution and liberty, whether the government happens to like it or not. So a big thanks goes out to you through the TAC membership program for sponsoring this episode of Nullification Movement News. Alrighty, so welcome back to the show, and last up for today is Nullification News Report number 3, which isn't really a news report, but it's really important history. 234 years ago today, on March 4th, 1789, the first Congress convened, putting the Constitution for the United States into effect. Unfortunately, it didn't stay in full effect for very long, and today we live under the largest government in history. That alone should tell you we're nowhere close to what James Madison described as a federal government with powers that would be few and defined. Madison himself referred to it as a mere parchment barrier in Federalist number 48. Asking, begging, or demanding that the federal government stop doing the things that the federal government never should have been doing in the first place is an absolutely terrible strategy. Instead, we need a different approach. As Mercy Otis Warren put it, the origin of all power is in the people, and they have an incontestable right to check the creatures of their own creation. In other words, it's up to we the people to learn how to protect and preserve our own Constitution and our own liberty, whether the government happens to like it or not.